So I've just finished editing and importing a lot of the products, not all of them, but a lot of the products that I had in my import list to Shopify. As you can see, I now have 25 products in the My Products section on Oberlo, and this allows you to open it. Again, it's an in-between between Shopify and AliExpress, so you can open the product page in Shopify, and you get to your back end here where you can edit the product description and all that. I've already done all that. I've added the SEO, the small SEO help, as I discussed in a previous video. I've done this bit here on all of the product pages. It took me a while, but I think in the long run it's worth it. And also, it helps with the valuations, really. Even if you're going to sell this in a couple of weeks' time because you get bored of it or whatever, if you have done some SEO work, regardless of how small that work may have been, it does help push that valuation up slightly. And you can also open the AliExpress product page. There you go. So you can do that for all the products. You can also delete it from Shopify. You can stop tracking, which means stop tracking the price or inventory on the AliExpress page. I wouldn't touch that really. Override this product. This is if you want to change suppliers, basically. You can just link to a new AliExpress listing here. For example, you find a better supplier, or more reliable supplier, or a cheaper supplier. And finally, prevent product price from auto-updating. I skimmed over this in a previous video. Basically, what Oberlo does, it automatically tracks the price of all items that you've imported. It tracks the price on AliExpress. So if this went up by £1, it would automatically track that, and it would increase my price accordingly, probably by the multiplier that I set in my Oberlo settings. So I think it's about time we actually started looking at the theme of the store now that we've got some products. So let's have a look at what it looks like now. Again, at the moment the homepage looks no different, but if we click shop, boyfriend pillow, our boyfriend pillows appear. Animals, our animal products appear. I love these, I think they're really cool. I'll just make a quick note. Try and find square images, because as you can see this looks a bit naff because they're all different sizes. Try and keep your your main product image, try and keep it uniform, try and keep it square. If not, it's not a big deal, but it just makes it look a bit more professional. So they're my animal products, and finally food. And these are my food products. You'll notice that it's taken a while to load, and we can fix that later on. Don't worry too much about it. And also shop all, and this will be all products. And again, remember we linked this to our best selling, sorted by best selling. As we start to edit the actual store, edit the theme, we click online store, themes, and if you aren't really a big fan of the theme as it is, I think it's okay for now, it'll do the job, but I'm gonna try a different theme. So if you want to look at different themes, just click visit theme store, and then you can find free ones by clicking this. And usually the preview will give you a good idea of what the theme is good for selling. I'm gonna check out a couple of different themes. I'll try simple first. So all you do is click install theme. Publishes my store's theme. and then you can customize the theme. So this has all changed actually since I last customized the theme from the start. So sections, header, you can add a logo, which we'll be doing. A tagline, I leave that blank. Your sidebar, you select what menu you want to show in your sidebar. Obviously, you're probably going to want it to be main menu. Featured collection, I change this to best sellers. I remove the talk about your brand bit. I click that and delete that section because you have an about us page. You don't really need a talk about your brand section. And the footer is just links, and you select what menu to show. Obviously, you're probably going to want the footer menu like I have here. And I'd also suggest adding a newsletter sign up, and we'll work on that later on. So save. So head over to general settings and you can change your color scheme. If you're going to use black at all, make sure it's an off black. Make sure it's not 0000 because it's actually quite harsh on the eye. The best way to check out what your colors are actually going to look like is clicking on one of your products and looking at the add to cart button, which I think is, yeah, it's a secondary button. So as you can see, the color is actually changing at the moment. I really don't like the add to cart button on the simple theme, but we will change how it looks later on. The best colours to use on your buttons, it's been tried and tested, are greens, blues and oranges. The Amazon orange button, for me, works the best. It gets more clicks, and while we want our store to look cool, we want it to look professional, we want it to look legit, we also want it to be optimized for conversions, because if you're using the wrong colours, you might actually be driving people away. You might be leaving money on the table. So I'd suggest using a green or an orange for your add to cart button. So I'm going to save that. Check out that huge product copy. That is a bit too long. Typography. Sans serif fonts work better. Headings. I like to go for Montserrat Bold for headings because it's a font that I see pretty much everywhere nowadays, and I think people familiarize themselves with fonts that they see a lot. And if your new site that they've never visited before is using a font they're familiar with, then they're going to feel slightly more at home. Again, it's a really small thing, but I think it does actually make a difference. Body text is fine as it is, I think. Feel free to mess with it yourselves, but this is what I would use myself. I often do keep breadcrumb navigation shown just because it's easier for people to go back to where they came from. Social media, if you've already created your Facebook, Twitter, well, you don't need a Twitter. If you've already created your Facebook and Instagram accounts for this store, then add them in now using the template here. So it'll be the facebook.com / whatever your page name is. I would suggest simply going to your page and copy and paste in the main URL. Same for Instagram. It's usually instagram.com / your username. You don't need to sign up for all this other stuff though, really. If you have a blog, you can add a link to that. Sharing options, I'd keep these on just because it helps generate word of mouth if people do click these buttons. They don't usually, but as I said, it does help. I don't know how to pronounce this favicon image. This is what we'll show here. This is a favicon image. It is important that you have one of them. Check out background image. I don't recommend you use a background image. Logo, if you have your logo, upload it here. Position left, logo size medium. I just leave that. It's fine as it is. I hate seeing backgrounds on carts and checkouts. I just think it looks really dodgy. Buttons and accents, again, I leave this. I never really mess with this because blue is authoritative and it's safe, and red is, it's a warning, you need to check this. So I think they're fine. We will actually be customizing a few things in the checkout process later on to help increase our conversions. But for me, this is generally how I leave it. I would like this subscribe button to be a different color. So what I'm going to do, just click that, and I'm going to copy and paste this hex code so they're exactly the same color, and then enter, then click off. The only problem is that now the in-text links, you can hardly see them. It's good that we've got a you might also like section here. It's cross-selling, so we can hopefully increase our average order value. I'm just going to change the heading of links to something like more information, and then use that to sign up. Okay, so product pages, you want to click sections, product pages, and this is something you're going to want to test. Stay on current page when item is added to cart. If you click it, it will stay on the page. If you don't click it, it will open the cart, like so. I really need to change these colors actually because it's far too bright. So I'm going to stay on the current page. You want to show a quantity selector because they may buy more than one. You don't need to show the product vendor, but I'll show you what it looks like. Novelty pillow store. Enable sharing, that just gets rid of these if you don't want them, if you click it. But obviously we want to keep them. Description below images or right of images. And if you have more than one image, they'll appear here. I'll find one to show you. There you go. Now this product description is far too long. What you want is it to look nice and coherent. You want the product description to end ideally where the product photos end. I prefer to show my description to the right of images. And this featured image just lets you select how people actually look at the product when they click it. Lightbox and zoom in are pretty good. I think zoom in is probably better than lightbox, to be honest. I'm going to leave it as zoom in. So that's my product page done. I do need to go back and change the description. For now, what you need to do is this, it should say featured product or something at the moment. I renamed mine bestsellers earlier in this video. I'm going to change it back to featured products. In fact, I'm going to put new products. And I'm going to change it to 3 rows. And for now the collection is none. You need to click add collection. And we're going to call it new products. And you're manually going to select products. And just click products that you think are going to be the best sellers. Obviously this is completely speculative, and you know, you might be completely wrong. So I've got 6 so far, 7, 8, 9. Sort manually, and again you just sort them how they're going to appear from first to last. So I think I'll leave mine like that. It's not that important really, but it is important in the sense that you don't just want your store to look like this when you're sending people to it. Like this, sorry. So that's saved. So now you should be able to click the collection here. If you can't see it, just click off and click back on, and it'll be here. And there we go, that's much better. I'm probably going to change some of these actually, because I do want them all to be square. Right, that'll do, that's fine. So that's my homepage. Ideally, I would have images that have white backgrounds, like these two. These are really great images. Unfortunately, they're not available for the rest of my products. If your products have white backgrounds, certainly use them on your homepage, because it's going to look a lot more professional than mine does at the moment.